Yeah, hey AJ, this is Ted Johnson with Marketing for Guides. I want to thank you for responding to our email about doing a website analysis. I've had a chance to go through your site and have seen some things there that I'm very impressed with, seen some things that I would be concerned if I were in your shoes, and hopefully I can point those things out. And I hope this quick video will help you with taking care of those issues. Instead of providing you with a 17-page report that you've got to read on through, it's sometimes easier because we go through a lot of information is to do it on video. So I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible, but I have a hunch it'll last about 15 minutes, something like that. If I go directly to your site, of course you're familiar with it, and the first page that comes up is this great video, and I must commend you for spending the money to put that together. That obviously has cost you some dollars, but I would imagine that's also booked you some trips. I don't know how much problems Google has with a video on its own page at the start of a website. But because the videos no longer can play automatically, I believe that you're getting hurt by this a little bit, and in regards to your rankings and that sort of thing. And so moving this video to somewhere on the home page, and maybe even looking at rehosting it with another company such as like Vimeo, that can autoplay this for you, I think it would be a much powerful experience for the visitor if you did it that way versus having it on the page just before somebody gets to the home page. So I'm going to go ahead and click down here to the skip to the home page button, and then your site comes up. I like your logo, man. It's really kind of cool. You've got a lot of very powerful images on this website. You've got a nice slider that comes up here. One of the things that I noticed, I'm going to hit the About Us button and maybe go like the company profile. Every time that I move to another page, it resets this the slider back to the water buffalo and then the zebras again. And if I'm bouncing through the site, I'm seeing the water buffalo all the time. And so if you can make it so that that slider stays static as visitors go through the site, again, I think it would be a much better experience for them. I'm going to go ahead and bounce back to home. One of the things that Google looks at when they are ranking a site is the home page, and they're looking for a lot of content right now on that home page. Now you've got a lot of content in regards to graphics, but if I scroll down here, that's about all I see on the home page. So since Google considers this as the home page, one of the things that they're looking for is they're looking for at least 1,200 words of content on this home page, along with titlings and headings and that sort of thing. And that's something that I'm not seeing on the site. Again, if you drive people to your website through other means, this is a great graphical appeal to them. But if you're bringing in people directly from the internet that didn't know about you and found you in an internet search, then this is a negative in Google's eyes, and they're actually penalizing you for having your home page set up this way. I'm not going to go through all the different pages. Of course, you've got a lot of great content on the site. Google looks for at least 300 words of content on all these sub pages. So I'm going to go back here to the company profile real quick, and the company profile, I mean, you've got a tremendous amount of verbiage here, well over the 300 word requirement that Google is looking for. One of the things that's not being used is something called headers, and those headers can make or break you when it comes to ranking the site in Google's eyes. Again, you've got some nice drop downs here. The one thing I wanted to show you or a couple things I want to show you is, let's go to the Safari training course. And I want to bring this up. There we go. This first offering that you have is Siam or something like that. If I click on the link to it, I get sent then to this screen, and it doesn't seem to relate to your website. And the other thing that it does is it closes the website, and so I can't I can't go back by using the back button and that sort of thing. So if people are hitting this, they're leaving your site, and then they're having a really hard time. Well, I guess it came right back on that time, but I had it where it wasn't coming back. And so that's something that I'd be very concerned about. It doesn't look like maybe that's operational, and I would strip that out at that point. If I go to the packing list that you have down here, again, there's some good interaction with the clients. You've got a downloadable PDF, and then a nice takeaway that people have. One of the other things that I'm not seeing on the site is a footer. And in the footer, you do have it in yellow down here, but Google's looking for a more pronounced footer with links to your social media, to a sitemap, which I'm not seeing here, which is penalizing you also. I think it's being done. I just don't see the link to it on the footer. And so, having that reset up down there in a different format, and maybe even just taking the whole site and going to what they call a Web 2.0 layout, would make it more attractive in Google's eyes, would give you better rankings, and it would probably even give you better conversions of people hitting the site and then contacting you. So the first thing I did after I perused the site is I said, okay, well, what is the site built with? And there's a program out there called WordPress, and there's a way to tell if a site has been set up under WordPress or not, which about 70% of all new sites are. And congratulations, your site is using WordPress. And so it does have the ability to use a lot of tools out there that can get your site ranked higher than what it is. It's just you're not using a whole lot of those tools right now with the way that the site is set up. I'm going to go to a rankings checker, which is next on my list here. Now, what this is, forgive me. Let me go back to you. I'm going to go here, actually. The other thing that I did, and forgive my bouncing around, is I wanted to make sure that your site is mobile friendly. 80% of all web traffic that comes to a guide, lodge, or outfitters or Safari company's website is now coming in on mobile devices. And you understand that as well as I. I mean, you go to any restaurant, any airport, people aren't opening up their laptops anymore to look at the internet. They're doing it very quickly on the mobile devices, and so that's what people are used to using. Now, in Google's eyes, your site is considered mobile friendly, so you're not getting penalized for that. But if you look over to the right-hand side, this is the example of what is coming up, and a lot of your users are just kind of seeing a black screen because they can't play that video correctly that you have embedded on your site. That's the one that's at the very beginning of the site. Some mobile devices will run it. Many of them won't. And so you're giving people kind of a bad experience when they're first coming to your website, and they're probably just leaving immediately because they're anticipating they're not going to be able to see anything else on that site because they can't see that video. The next thing then I did is I went and I did some keyword research, and I did it very quickly. Keyword research for a site and an operation like yours is probably a day-long project to figure out what kind of keyword you want to be ranking for. What are people typing into the internet to find someone like you that doesn't know about you? And so using a tool to go in and do the research is very important. So I just started with the basics, and I typed in the two words Africa Safari. And these are all of the keywords that contain Africa and the word safari, and how much volume is there that people are typing in each and every month. So, for instance, South Africa Safari has a search volume of 4,400 searches per month. Africa Safari has 2,900. Best Safari in Africa has 2,400. And I can go down the litany and just read these all off to you. But these are the foundational words that the site needs to be set up around if you're going to get organic traffic, which is the best kind of traffic to get off the internet. That's traffic that you really don't pay for by running ads and that sort of thing. It's just done by having the site set up organically. So once I determined at this point, okay, I'm looking for like South Africa Safari or Africa Safari, those are the top volume words, I ran a report on your website, and I ran, it's showing here all of the keywords that you are ranking for and where you're ranking for them. And so, for instance, your number one search term is Tanzania game trackers. And you're ranked number 2, which is terrific. You're on the first page, very top of it. But there's only a volume of 10 people per month that are even searching for Tanzania game trackers. Now, granted, if they type that in, they're probably looking for someone like you. And so that's good business for you. But you may only be getting one visitor a month out of that 10 that hits your site. And so it's a very low ROI to have your site ranking on Tanzania game trackers. I wouldn't complain about it, but on the other hand, it's not giving the masses of what you want. I can go through and I can read all of the different keywords that your site is ranking on. For instance, Africa map game. You're number 54, which means you're on the 6th page. There's 1,300 people that search for that every month. But I'll get back to it. Again, it's on the 6th page. People aren't going that far down looking for someone. Very rarely do they come off that first page. And again, as I go on down through here, the search, not the search volumes, but your search rankings are all in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and even 6th and higher pages. So you're really not getting much exposure on the internet based on how the site is set up right now. The other thing that I did is I wanted to do a Google search on South Africa Safari just to see if I could find you. And the first couple things that come up are ads. So there's Safari Tours, there's an ad there. South Africa Package Tours, there's an ad. And again, I'm not seeing you anywhere on this first page or even the 2nd page. So again, it's based on really how the site is set up. The Google isn't really seeing the format that they want to see in order to give you a better ranking. And then finally, I went to your Facebook page to see how interactive you are on social media. And there is your Facebook page. Congratulations, you're doing actually a pretty good job of making posts to Facebook. They aren't being done on a real regular basis. There's March 18th, and as I scroll on back through, there's less per month going in than what there should be. But on the other hand, a business like yours, probably the majority of people that are using Facebook are probably not your clients. It would probably be more like LinkedIn, which is a social network for professionals and that sort of thing. That's probably where you would find a better hit ratio or a conversion ratio in your social media efforts. And so if I were in your shoes, I wouldn't stop the Facebook postings that you do. I'd have them automatically linked to the website so that the website can get new content also, because that's something that I'm not seeing on the website, that where you're updating content on a regular basis, and then add in probably LinkedIn. And you may already be on LinkedIn. I looked very quickly for you. and couldn't find you there. But you can get real proactive setting up your business also in LinkedIn. I wish I would have gotten an email from you a couple months ago. You and I look like we run around the same shows in the U.S. I do a lot of the ISE shows. I'm part of the business and part of the industry. I'm just not kind of a web guy that does coffee shops and restaurants and stuff. All my work is done within your industry. I attend a lot of the shows. I have a lot of clients and lodges that hire me to go in and run their booths for them. And so anyway, if we would have talked a little earlier in the year, I probably would have been able to have a chance to shake your hand at one of the shows. So anyway, I hope this helps. I sure appreciate the chance to share this with you. Throwing my hat in the ring, I can fix things for you. That's what I do. We've got over 150 clients worldwide, and your problems aren't any different than really the issues that we see on a daily basis that comes through our office. And so, again, we understand your industry. We understand how things need to be set up so it takes advantage of the things that are kind of unique in your business. And anyway, that's my 2 cents. Thanks again, AJ. Bye.